Hi, my name is Caio Terra. I'm visiting Dubai for almost a week. I've been training here at Pride Fitness Center. I've been having a great time in Dubai. Well, I think that, of course, sizing matters a lot, but you can defeat size with technique. Now, of course, it's not a simple thing, but I think that it's possible. As I have shown, and other people have been trying to do the same. But the most important is to be having fun on the mats, no matter if you're going against someone your size or someone that is bigger than you. You cannot learn jiu-jitsu by yourself. You need someone to guide you. Of course, that nowadays, with so many DVDs and online trainings out there, it's very easy to be, to be learning new things and to be progressing faster. Back in the day, it was very easy to be outdated because there was no internet. If it was internet, everything would be easier, when I was a blue belt. But the things online wouldn't even, the things that would be online wouldn't even be good, and the things that would be online would take forever to be played. Internet wasn't even fast like nowadays. So, I think things changed a lot, and jiu-jitsu has to keep up with evolution. Today's world, everything is done through the internet, and so jiu-jitsu can be. But you still need to train at a gym, and you still need to, to be taught by someone, someone that you respect, someone that that cares about you, because jiu-jitsu is a lot more than just technique, and I think that you should be guided by someone that is good and that will do good for you. I think jiu-jitsu is jiu-jitsu, and it doesn't matter if you're doing jiu-jitsu for a competition, or if you're doing jiu-jitsu for self-defense, or if you're doing jiu-jitsu for nogi, if you're doing jiu-jitsu for MMA. Every jiu-jitsu is jiu-jitsu. The only difference is that you're going to have to adapt your jiu-jitsu, your style, to what you're going to play. But I think that's the easiest part. The hardest part is to learn jiu-jitsu, because jiu-jitsu is not something easy to be learned. Every movement is completely different than what we do in our daily basis. So learning like that is something much harder than adapting your jiu-jitsu to either nogi or MMA. It's very hard for me to say Ronda's weaknesses is this or that, because I can't prove it, because nobody has defeated her yet. So first of all, someone has to defeat her, and then you can say something, because she have made many mistakes in fights, but honestly, who doesn't make a mistake? The thing is, she made so many mistakes, but no other girl was able to capitalize on that. So, I believe Ronda had always had a good ground game, not just a good judo game. I think there's a lot of women that still could beat her, but, it's tough, Alexis, for example, she was already knocked out when the ground went when the fight went to the ground. I think Alexis would have had a better chance, even if she had pulled guard, than, what happened. But, every fight is a fight, and, Ronda is there for a reason. That's a very complicated question, because, everyone has a different goal, So, of course, the goal is to try to make your student happy, no matter what his goal is. If it's, to have fun on the mats, if it's to socialize with other people, if it's to do good on competitions, if it's for self-defense, if it's to have fun with your family who also train jiu-jitsu. So it depends a lot. But, I always try to bring, the best technique for them. I always try to be evolving, so I could be showing them, the right things to learn the best way, so, they can progress right, and, maybe one day teach their kids. Now, it's always important to have a fun environment at the gym, and it's always important to have a place that there's not many groups. I see a lot of gyms that they have a lot of little groups of people. There's the group A, the group B, group C, and they don't talk to each other. I'm very glad that my gym has no groups. Everybody talks to everyone. There's nothing, that there's no special group. We have the comparators team, and they're not treated any special. The comparator team is treated the same as any other student. I haven't competed in a 6-minute match, so for me it's hard to give my opinion on that. But one thing that I know for a fact is that all the champions, it doesn't matter if it's from 10 minutes, 6 minutes, 20 minutes, or however minutes it is, doesn't matter what the rules is, the champions are always the same, because the champions adapt to any rule. And you don't see someone that guy is amazing and he will be the greatest champion ever on submission only, but when it comes to points, he will lose always, The same champion of submission only will be the champion of points. And it doesn't matter what points are, because that champion will adapt his game to that. There's not a champion that can only play guard or a champion that can only play top. Pretty much everyone knows how to, are very well-rounded. Everybody who were a champion have a very well-rounded game. Now, I think the 6'10" and submission only is just a fact to entertain the public, It's more for the public than for the athlete, because an athlete should be able to prepare himself for any challenge, But, the public is what should choose between those styles. It would be impossible to make a tournament out of 20-minute matches submission only, because a favorite fighter would fight a guy who is not the favorite, and that guy would try just to draw the match, and even though he might not be able to be successful and draw the match, but he will end up getting the fighter tired because he's going to have to be pushing the pace the whole time. So it will depend a lot on how the brackets are drawn, and that will not be fair, So I believe that you do have to have points, Although submission only, I agree that a lot of the times are more exciting, You have to have points because points are actually more real. Because if you think about it, most of the times to get a submission, you're gonna have, to get position. And that's what points are. You award points for the position, And basically the guy who got the most amount of points is the guy who got closer to submit the other, because he got the most amount of positions out of the other. Now, of course, a lot of the times you play with the advantage or, small points to win a match, And yes, that may be a bad thing. Maybe they can change the rules and put that you have to win with a bigger margin of points or something like that, to make more entertaining. But it's hard to make something that is submission only. It wouldn't be fair to the athletes. Well, I totally agree with that. That should not be advantage for sweeping from the 50-50. But yes, there can be stalling from every position. And honestly, 50-50 is not even the easiest position to stall, Close guard would be a lot easier to stall. And, how many matches don't you see both people standing up and just fighting head to head and there's no action, That's also really easy to stall, If you don't want to be put down and you just fight to not be put down and the other guy don't pull guard, what's going to happen? It's going to be a stalling match. I see so many matches. The most amount of matches that I see on stalling is from spider guard, So, and sometimes it's not even about stalling. Sometimes the guy is really trying, but, a lot of the times when you're in spider guard, your opponent has to react too. And the guy on top doesn't want to react, just like in 50-50, Sometimes the guy that is stalling isn't the guy on bottom. Sometimes the guy that is stalling is the guy on top. And, that can change back and forth, Yeah, my online training, I decided to create one because, a lot of the times you throw DVDs out there, like I did with the, 111 half guard. And the DVD today, You know, it's so outdated, you know. It's still, a lot of the techniques are still good, you know. Many of the techniques are still good. But I look at 3 or 4 of them and I say, wow, you know, this is not even a part of jiu-jitsu anymore. How can this even be, you know? How can I cut this out of the DVD? But you can't. You know, in the online training, you can. You can always cut something out. You can always update, you know. And you can always be adding new things, you know. You can, you know, a lot of the times I have questions on the DVDs that I release. Oh, but what can I do if my opponent does this? You know, in online training, if someone asks me, because we have forums and we have discussions on the techniques, we have comments on the posts and everything. So if someone asks me, you know, I can just release a new video, you know, the next day. So it's something that is a lot easier for me to, you know, to deal with, you know, because I'm very concerned with, you know, with the people who gets my products, you know, because I don't want them to feel that something doesn't work, because everything that I show, it works for me. And I wanted to show them that it works for them as well. But of course, that in every technique, there is a counter, you know, and that's why what I really loved about the online training, you know, that my students can be always offered with, you know, with the best, because they, you know, I can always be updating them. I can always be showing them what they're doing wrong, you know, while in the DVD would be impossible. I honestly am not even thinking about it. You know, I just want to, you know, be healthy. You know, I have been having a lot of health issues, and, you know, I've been still competing, but, you know, I'm not 100% yet to be, you know, there. I just, you know, really wanted to compete again, and, you know, I'm doing my best, but honestly, my biggest focus is now on my students, you know, not just my students on the gym, you know, but my students online as well. You know, I'm trying to do my best to keep it up to, you know, both of the sides.